What's going on, everybody? Nick Walker here, and we're at Season 2, Episode 17, Board Recruiting, and I'm with the dynamic duo. Yeah, we got Miss Frankie Gilmore and Cynthia Brown. And guess what, guys? We're in Clayton, Alabama for this one. Where I started at, I consider these ladies as work mom. We'll talk to them today about recruiting. You know, what they do here is extremely impressive because when you think of a recruiting team or a recruiting process, you think of a room full of recruiters. Well, guess what? This is the bulk of our recruiting department right here. And you got one that deals with strictly new drivers, and then you got Cint who deals with the experienced drivers. But let's get to know these lovely ladies and what they do here at Boyd and why it's important to have a recruiting department that's so awesome. So let's start off with some Boyd history. Frankie, talk to us about your Boyd history. How long have you been at Boyd? And kind of tell us where you started at and how you ended up in recruiting.
Well, I've been at Boyd not quite as long as Cynthia. I've been here for 14 years. The last 6 I've been in recruiting. Before that, I worked in sales. In fact, that's where Nick and I started down there. We were, maybe 5 feet apart from each other. So that's my history so far.
Cynthia, talk to us about your history at Boyd, brother. Where did you start and where are you right now?
Hi, I'm Cynthia Brown in recruiting, and I've been in recruiting the entire time, 26 years.
You heard that, guys. You heard it from these ladies. They very experienced ladies as far as what they do. And I know, when you think about recruiting, everybody think it's just calling a driver, kind of just, convincing him to come over or do this. But it's a lot more to the process. And I'll let these lovely ladies kind of go through some of the details of getting a good qualified driver to come drive a truck for us. Frankie, you want to talk to us about it?
Well, I am the student recruiter, so I talk to guys who are just either getting ready to go to school. Mm-hmm. They could be in school or they could be have graduated. So we do have leads. We have a lot of driver referrals, people within our company that have actually talked to drivers. And then we network with some schools. So we have a lot of different ways to bring people in. We have a great training program. It's 5 weeks. We help kind of bridge that gap from learning how to drive a truck to being a safe, professional guy ready to go out and pull freight.
Awesome, Frankie. And the guys, just to, double down on what she's saying. If you, like I said earlier, Frank is responsible for our new guy. So that's a guy that's just got his CDL and looking for a good home in the industry. And Frankie kind of takes him through that process. Moving on to Cynthia, same question. I know it's a little different for you because I know you deal with guys that's, been in the industry for a while. So you're looking for these guys. And then I know it's a bit harder sometimes because you're trying to convince a guy that know a lot and already know what's going on. It's probably that has established itself at a company. And so I know it's a bit different. Talk to us about that role.
My job as an experienced recruiter is to, of course, talk to experienced drivers. First of all, I try to find out what their needs are, what they're looking for. And then I try to see if we can match up to what their expectations are. My job is to process the application, build a relationship with the driver, and to provide transparency, and we offer the training on the job to get the experience with hauling flatbed loads.
Awesome. Usually, whenever you do something and do it for a long period of time, you heard the ladies earlier, Cynthia, 26 years, Frankie, 14 years. There's usually someone, something that push you towards doing what you do to make you as great at the position or the job that you guys have become at the job. Talk to us about, is there a mentor or a certain situation that Cynthia, this question is for you, that push you towards recruiting? I mean, you do such a great job at it. I just don't know if you've seen somebody in your past that used to be a recruiter or somebody that, seen something in you and talked to you about, hey, I think you'll be a great recruiter for Boyd Brothers, and I want you to give this opportunity a shot.
Starting out, I didn't have any experience in recruiting, but I dealt with people. In recruiting, you've got to kind of be a people person. You've got to be listen, and try to get out what you best have to offer as far as sales, communicating, and also kind of bonding and building a family atmosphere and relationship.
Awesome. And I like that you mentioned family. That's what we advertise. Boy, big on family, and that's the word. That's what we like to make sure we instill in each driver that we touch on the phone, through email, or whatever, to let this guy know that he's coming to a family versus a truck driving job. Frankie, who did you have anybody that wanted it? Because like you said, I remember me and you used to bust it down in our operations, and it's a different part of it. You kind of scrambling all day to put a puzzle together, and it's a lot different than recruiting. But what made you want to take your talents to recruiting?
Yeah, it was different, but it was a really unique experience for me because, like Cynthia, I didn't have a recruiting background. I had sales and customer service. And part of that customer service is building relationships. So I brought that with me when I came to recruiting. But it allowed me that situation of working with operations and sales, it allowed me to learn a lot about truck drivers, about the things that are important to them, home time, good loads. A lot of what I do now and talk to people about actually is what I learned from days down working in sales. And I tell people all the time, they say, what do you do at Boyd? Because normally people think truck driving company is male dominated. Of course, at Boyd, it's not. But I tell them I get to talk to people every day. I get to build those relationships and tell people, hey, this is what we offer. It is good family oriented. Stability. We have a great program for getting you from, in my situation, from a student to a professional truck driver. And that's what we have here, professional, career-minded truck drivers. And I get to be a part of that. And what could be more exciting than coming and just getting to know people and helping them on their life journey. One of the things that we talk to guys about when they're looking to come on board with us, we're not just trying to fill seats in a truck. We want guys to come in. We want you to be a part of our family for a long time. That's one of the reasons for students. We take 5 weeks. We want you to, in that 5 weeks, we want you to be a good, safe driver. We want you to make a career here. You're not just a number to us. You do have a truck number, of course, but when you come in to Boyd and you come to the terminal, you're going to be greeted by name because you are a person. You have family. One of the things that I love talking to new drivers about is, what made you decide to go into truck driving? And if you open that up and you get to hear the stories that are being told, you hear everything from my daddy was a truck driver. Some people, it's always been my dream. I'm retired. I want to do something for me now. So it's a lot of individual stories out there. But there's room for everybody here. We just have to find the best fit, make sure that we've got everything for you, for your family, because your family is important. You've got to have a good support staff at home to be able to come and be away from home for about 5 weeks. So it's important that we know what your needs are going forward.
Awesome.
Okay, and for me, it is connecting with the driver, of course, and finding out things about and making mental notes about home, why this driver is interested in changing maybe to flatbed. Sometimes they're nervous about it. The wives have questions about how everything works, benefits, stability. They want to leave the van division because they heard that flatbed is where it is. And that is my job to give them that information, relay that to them. And if it's something I'm not sure about, then I have someone that I can reach out to get that support. And we have 24-hour support. There's always someone in that boat with you, just in case you need something. As far as family, chaplain, whatever you need, we offer. And we're here for you.
And I'll piggyback off of that about nervous. A lot of students are nervous. And my job is to give them information, but also I feel like I have really done Boyd a service when we get to the end of that phone call and I have taken some of that nervousness away. It's a new industry. It's a new world for these students. Just like an experienced driver would be flatbed may be new. Students are just new. They don't know anything. They have questions. They are being bombarded by so many different companies, and they haven't had the opportunity like experienced drivers have to weed through, all of that. Right. They face value what you give them. That's all they have.
That's where we have to be transparent.
That's right, because the last thing we would want to do is bring somebody in and give them false expectations. Right. Again, because we have such a good program for experienced drivers or students, we don't have to do that.
Right.
We're able to just give them the Boyd way, the Boyd culture.
And being honest.
We recommend, hey, if you see a Boyd driver, talk to him.
That's right.
Nick he's the face of the podcast. Go out there, look at him, see who he's bringing in. He brings in management. He brings in other drivers. You can get a good sense of our culture just by seeing what Nick is offering through the podcast. So that's another part of that transparency. So we try to have all kind of answers, but again,
the correct answers.
Right. But Cynthia and I are just a phone call away.
Also, in processing a driver, getting the information, filling in the blanks, at the very end, once the driver has figured out this is going to be the place that I am going to go, I feel like this is good for me. It's the perfect place. When we send out your orientation information, we also include our driver expectation. It's there in black and white. You can look at it. If it's any questions about anything, Frankie and myself will go over it if it's something you don't quite understand about it. And if it's something that we can't answer, then that's when we go to someone else. Most of the time it's Nick that we have a question about, excuse me, and we want that driver to know that everything is out there. It's in the open. You're not going to get here. And then the last thing is that driver knows that he can call us once he's here in orientation and into the truck if they run into something they're not concerned about.
Oh. And everybody's on the same page. So that's, and I think Nick spoke about it. We're not telling them something to just get them in the door. Right. And again, we don't have to do that because we have such a good program.
And we're all on the same page.
There you go. And just like life, expectations change. That's why once you on board, you also get the opportunity to have an expectation exchange with your fleet manager. So anything that you expect, if you expected $1 million a week, let them know. And then we can let you know if it's feasible or not.
And our goal is for you to be successful. And so Cynthia and I are just the first part of your journey. Once you come in, you'll meet a whole bunch of different people who have the same desire for you. But I know I love being part of that journey, and it makes me feel good at the end of the day when I've been able to make good decisions for Boyd, but also make an impact in the lives of these people who've worked hard. Listen, learning how to drive a truck is hard. It's not easy. You go to school for 4 weeks. Now you're behind this 80,000-pound bullet going down the road. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of hard work.
But if you're willing, we will make sure that you have the tools necessary to be successful.
What is something, what is something that you want a potential driver that's trying to onboard to Boyd Brothers? What's something that you want him to know, and it could be culture, home time, etc. It doesn't matter what, but what's something that you absolutely leave every potential guy that want to onboard here with?
I will say this has always stood out to me is that we are constantly being reminded that the drivers don't work for us. We are here as a support, and we work for the drivers. Mr. Boyd started this company. His daughter ran it. Chris is now here with us. So our management really understands what it is to be a driver, to be out there, be away from home. And so we are just support staff for what our drivers need to be successful.
All right, Cyn, anything you want a potential lead to know before he onboards here? Anything about culture, home time, anything that you leave each guy that you talk to with, something that you leave him with that makes Boyd different than any other trucking company?
I feel that I want the driver to know that he's coming to a home.
Yep.
Family values. We're here to make sure we try to meet their needs as well as our expectations for them, and they can be successful.
Awesome. Hey, guys, you've heard it from our recruiting girls. They do an awesome job here. And as I told you guys earlier, it's just two of them. And we get everything that we need. We get great drivers. They pass off great drivers to us. But the most important thing that I like is the information, because, see, sometimes you hear, well, my recruiter told me this, my recruiter told me that. Well, you know what? These ladies right here work hand in hand with operations, with onboarding. So all the information is the same. And first of all, I just myself, just want to say thank you guys, because you make it a lot easier for me when I'm walking over to talk to those guys in orientation, and I'm feeding information that I know you guys have already passed off to them. So I just want to thank you guys for the job that you do for Boyd Brothers, and just personally to say thank you for making my job a lot easier. All right, to any driver out there looking to join the Boyd team, I'm going to let these lovely ladies tell you guys where you guys need to go.
Okay, go to Drive for Boyd, or that is the number 4, Drive for Boyd, or 800-543-8923. You
guys heard it here from our recruiting girls. If this is just want to say, thank all the listeners for kind of listening in. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, any social media site out there. We're pretty much attached to it. And to the drivers out there that's looking for a truck driving career versus a truck driving job, go Boyd.